Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariana Ochoa, and to open up this conference, I want to tell you a story. I remember when I was around 10 years old, my mom told me that my uncle just had a very bad car accident with all his family, including my cousins. And I remember that my mom told me that my cousin, she literally flew out of the car and ended up on the other side of the road just because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So, here's a question for you. How many stories have we heard about car accidents and people who are seriously injured for not wearing a seatbelt? A lot, I would say. And although we all know that seatbelts save lives, there are people who decide not to use them. So here's a question. Why do we keep making bad decisions that we know that are bad for us? This case is an example of a fundamental weakness in approach to improving our life behavior. Everything we say is based on the idea that we behave rationally. For example, if you give me information, I will process it in my head and my behavior will change as a result. But do you think that people who have suffered in car accidents didn't know that seatbelts save lives? Of course they didn't have a knowledge deficit. They had a behavior deficit. People can easily change someone's mind, but changing someone's behavior is harder. Many times we assume that if people don't behave as they should, it's because they didn't know any better, but this is not always right. For example, we tend to say a lot, if only people knew that smoking is dangerous, they wouldn't smoke. Yeah, right. The thing here is that everyone knows that, but they still do it. This is because we are not rational thinkers. We are irrational in highly predictable ways. The decisions we make are based on emotions or the social context. We don't always do what we know that is best for us. Also, we tend to overestimate the value of small possibilities. And we also pay much attention to regret. We all hate the feeling of missing out. Instead, perhaps the most powerful influencers of health behavior are our social interactions. Social engagement works in healthcare and it works in two directions. First, we fundamentally care what others think of us. And so, one of the most powerful ways to change our behavior is to make our activities witnessable to others. We behave differently when we're being observed than when we're not. We are always in our best behavioral when we're being observed, and it seems that we care so much what other people think of us that our behavior improves in those cases. And not only do we care what others think of us, we fundamentally model our behaviors on what we see that other people do. So, to conclude this conference, we all know that it's the non-rational parts of our minds where we get courage, creativity, inspiration, and everything else that sparks from passion. And we know something else too. We know that we can be much more effective at improving our health behavior if we work with the irrational parts of our nature instead of just ignoring them or fighting against them. So if we work with the non-rational parts of our mind, we can create much more better things than we can right now. Thank you.